The Bears are back in town, baby. The North Sydney Bears. Yes. North Sydney Bears will be rocking in the NRL in 2027, but they will be changing to the Perth Bears as they hit WA. So one of the inaugural New South Wales Rugby League clubs into the ARL are back in business in 2027, just waiting for all the NRL clubs to confirm this. Absolutely unbelievable. And with a game expected to be in North Sydney Oval versus Manly Seagulls as part of the deal. North Sydney Bears fans, get excited. Rugby League is back. Yes, well, what does this mean for the NRL? What does this mean for WA? What does this mean for North Sydney? Um, well, the question marks for me is um, how are they going to make their money? So, obviously, money from so NRL get money in terms of having an extra time slot at a different time in WA, so that'll give them more money. But in terms of the actual economy there, will it actually make much money? When you go look at the centre of excellence, it's going to be like 30 million, whatever that's going to be. Um, Improvements to the infrastructure of the actual stadium right now. Do they make it a world class stadium? So they have concerts like Taylor Swift in that. That's potential what WA could do to get more people coming there, because that's the big question mark, is how they're going to make money. Yes, when there's a game day, you might have some teams travel for holiday, but I don't know how regular that's going to be. But in terms of the economy, so there will be a bit of money there for the economy at that point. But do I actually see it happening long term into the future? I'm not 100% sure how the actual economy makes a lot of money from this deal, apart from anything the NRL gives, maybe the government. I'm not sure how that works, but um, so that's going to be interesting. And then what do you do with the reserve grade? So do they stay as based in Sydney? So the North Sydney Bears are just based in Sydney, and all the players stay there. So anytime someone gets dropped from the reserve grade in WA, they have to fly to Sydney and stay there for the week or so or whatever, and then fly back. Is that how that's going to work? Because I think travelling backwards and forwards seems like it's going to be too much, especially considering they just play mainly in New South Wales, apart from the Warriors side. So question marks will have to be answered around how that's going to work in this space. But obviously the biggest talking point here for North Sydney, who is going to be their coach? So there's a few trains of thoughts here. You can go with an experience of a Bellamy and a Wayne Bennett, but that's very unlikely any of those two are going to go. Then you're looking at a player like, a former coach like a Adrian Lamb or a Brad Arthur, for instance, which an experienced coach is probably more likely going to be the opportunity here. I don't see them going with a young buck, but I think they need to get a transition to a young coach is the way I'd go with it. And how do you do that? Well, you could potentially go with Brad Arthur, but it looks like Brad Arthur likes it his way or the highway. So I think you could go a bit of Back to the Future. I know he's had troubles in the past, but we could have a Bears coach. Jason Taylor. Look what he's doing at the Bulldogs right here, right now. Put him the coach. You have David Feely as an assistant. He's been assistant for a lot of different clubs over the years. And then you have the other assistant being who's going to be the coach in 2 or 3 years' time. Yes. Who is that person? That's who you got to decide. Do you think it's a Trent Barrett? Has he done his dash? Do you even think Kevin Walters has the potential to go up there and be the coach as well? That's another one to put up there. But I was more thinking of people like Dean Young, Sam Burgess, those type of coaches that are on the way up. Ben Hornby, the up and coming coaches, Josh Jackson's, the ones that are coming through the grade. Someone like that to build towards the future success. Because I think Brad Arthur or even a Des Hasler, they would be short term. Well, Jason Taylor could be a little bit longer if he did succeed. Question marks whether he is good enough man manager. There's probably a question mark around Jason Taylor. No doubt he's a good coach, but the man management side is probably where he struggled. But he was definitely one of my favourite players of mine, obviously with the signature there with Jason Taylor. So, but it'll be interesting to see what happens, who ends up being the coach. Obviously got Jason Demetrio on the sidelines as well. I think he'd be PNG's coach, in my opinion. I think that one's, but in terms of Perth, you probably would say Brad Arthur's the favourite, but it's going to be interesting if they want the new North Sydney based sort of thing. Then maybe there will be an opportunity to go for a Jason Taylor, but we will see how that all leads up into the future anything can happen in this wonderful world of rugby league. But yeah, all you North Sydney Bears fans get excited. Great to see. I mean, you look at the players that have played there: Billy Moore, Matty Sears, David Feely, Jason Taylor. I mean, there's a lot of other great players that have played there. Sean Hoppy, Ivan Cleary. I mean, there's a whole lot of list just goes on and on and on of players that have played at the North Sydney Bears. Steve Menzies in the joint situation with all the players that were playing in that era. But yes, North Sydney Bears is back and ready to rock and roll in 2027. And exciting for the likes of Billy Moore and all the board members that have been trying for such a long time to get the Bears back, and it's finally come to fruition. Fantastic stuff. Well, let's get on to the rest of the footy. What's happening around the traps? Jamal Fogarty, most likely to sign with Manly, and the stickling point at the moment is the contract. So there's talk 3-year contract for Jamal Fogarty. He has an injury concern, so that's a danger for this. It's expected to be around 650, 700, so that's probably another extra 100, 150 a year that the Raiders are offering for Fogarty. Take it. I mean, obviously living in Sydney costs more and all that, but depending where he's been, he probably has maybe a couple of houses already, so it might not be that major for him. And if you get that longevity of an extra year, it's an extra 650, 700,000, more than the Raiders are giving, I think he goes to Manly. But if he's content with the Raiders and goes, well, maybe I only need 2 more years in the game, if that's what he's thinking, then he'll stay at the Raiders. So it'll be interesting. I think he's settled in Canberra. If Canberra gave him 3 years, 3 years maybe at 500, he might even stay. But I don't know if they will go there. From what I talk to, that won't happen. So Manly may look to have got a coup there, but we will see how that one plays out, because the rugby league is a funny game, that is for sure. Obviously, the other big talking point at the moment is the transfer window. What should they do? Yes, we had a transfer window, I don't know how long ago now, 5, 10 years ago, and June 30 deadline, and we had the same hoopla that we're having now. We had people talking afterwards, we had people talking before, we had people talking, you still had James Maloney signing a year out from the November deadline as well. It doesn't matter what you do, there is going to be people that break the rules, and like Parramatta are doing currently, and all the other clubs are doing. I mean, all clubs do it. Don't just say it's one club. All clubs do it. I'm not going to say none of them do. Bulldogs have done. Look at Kiko. Look at the Roosters. I mean, it happens everywhere. So let's just cut that rubbish out. What could you do? Do you have one in the middle of the year? I don't think it fixes anything. You could even have 2 if you want. I thought that might be the answer. And one maybe round 6 and one just at the end of the origin period, to swap players around if you need to, if there's some disgruntled. But I mean, it just, you're still going to have it. But one thing, I don't think you need to change anything. The only thing I would change is these young players getting out of their contract. You can even say the older players are doing the same with Francis Moore. But the younger players, for me, I don't care, the older players not so much, but the younger players, for me, this is where it's got to stop. Galvin signed 2-year contract, 250, 300,000 roughly, that's what they're saying, for this year and next year. He should not be allowed to sign at another club for overs. If he wants to move club for the same price, fine. But to move clubs for more money, that's absolutely ridiculous with the contract situation, in my opinion. I think there should be something in the contract for a player, if a young player plays a certain amount of games, not say 26 when people say they play the whole season, more like say 12 games or something, even lower, maybe 10, and then their salary increases by whatever percentage, to make that work for some of the younger players coming through that they've developed, and figure out a way there, because at the moment it happens all the time. It's just too many good players. They just get moved on. Katoa, Sanders, I mean, there's just no incentive. I mean, I understand getting more money. That's what I don't begrudge people getting more money, but I just think the way that this contract saga works, otherwise it'll just continue as it is, and we just deal with it, and we love talking about it. So not really concerned for me, but that's just how all the stuff's happening at the moment in rugby league. Let's now have a look at the big stuff. Yes, what is happening here? What is going on today? Broncos versus the Bulldogs. Can the Broncos finally get a victory, folks? You betcha. Sal and Cobo, man of the match. I think the Broncos can upset and get Bulldogs their first loss. We will see. Going to be an interesting game. Then we go to Anzac Day. Big games. The Roosters versus the Dragons. And the Warriors versus the Knights. I think the Roosters can bounce back and get this done. And they need to keep their season alive. The Dragons, it is a must-win game for the Dragons for their make the top 8. It's a big game for them. The Warriors and Knights. Big game for the Knights. They're just about dead and buried. They lose this game, their season is over for winning the comp. So it's a big game for the Knights. They need to win. And the Warriors, I'm not convinced. They should win, but I'm not convinced. The Knights normally do pretty good against the Warriors, so this could be a danger game for the Warriors. But I'll hopefully see NK back, and re-signing will give them a boost to get them home. Storm versus Rabbits. Well, no Walker, no Rabbits. Latrell Mitchell's going to have to play huge again if he moves around. We'll see if that happens. Or if Lewis Dodd gets into the team, we will see how that works forward. No Harry Grant still, and that is the danger for the Storm, but they need to deliver without Harry Grant, and I think they will win the Storm to win. Cowboys, Titans. Well, you couldn't have the Titans at the moment, but they're probably due a win. And the Cowboys would know what they can be. Oh, but Cowboys are on a roll, and they have to win this game as well. Cowboys need to win. I think they might have had a bye, but if the Cowboys get this win, they can make the grand final. So it's a big game for the Cowboys. The Titans, I think, are just about out of the running for that. I think it's a must-win for Titans, I believe. They lose, they're gone. So it's a big game for both clubs here. Panthers versus Seagulls. Seagulls have to win. Panthers, well, they're already out of the running to win the comp, in my opinion, but it doesn't mean they can't make finals. Now, when I say all this, the history of the game, the history can't be broken. I mean, the Cowboys had 3 wins from their first day and they made the grand final, but they lost the grand final. Doesn't mean they can't make the grand final, but the history says that they win it. But you mainly have to win to bounce back if they want to be finals contenders. Well, at least top 4 contenders, they have to win. Otherwise, they are big trouble. But Panthers should be winning. But their travel from Panthers hasn't been good. Raiders, Dolphins, 2 informed teams. But I expect the Raiders to get home in this one. But Dolphins have really impressed of late, and we will see. Dolphins need to win to... Dolphins need to win to be a chance of winning the grand final. They need to get another win, so we'll see how that goes. And the Tigers, Sharks, the Tigers need this one as well to keep themselves up with the big boys in rugby league. Anyway, that's Barry Charles Footy Show for this episode. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. The Bears are back, baby. Yeah, the mighty Bears are back in rugby league in 2027. Have a great day out there.